ranges based on frequencies. And I'm going to email this to you guys after the session. I made a bunch of charts starting in the small blind. Oh, just a little bit bigger. All right. This is, the title's up here. I can expand it, but let's see. All right. So this is 3 big blinds deep in the small blind. The green is the Nash shoving range, and the yellow is the maximally exploitative, like adjusted to the population shoving range. This is one thing that Coffee covered in his math pack. Like he found the population tendency for calling shoves here, that we can be shoving wider than Nash. This chart shows that. Then increasing 5 big blinds are jamming range and maximal exploitative range. So it's not so different because even though they're folding a little bit too much, we're risking more now, so we can only shove slightly wider than Nash. The 7 big blinds, just shoving slightly wider than Nash. But the main point being that we can shove a few hands wider than Nash, we should be. We start limping the big pairs. 10 big blinds deep. Our maximally exploitative range, obviously, we're shoving a lot. This isn't news to any of you, I'm sure. We all do that. We start kind of having a limping range. It kind of varies. Like the main thing I wanted to kind of get across here was that a lot of the decisions are really close. That's why I listed green as min-raise fold or limp, because I think versus the population, it's kind of a really game flow dependent situation since the expectation is really close. They're terrible versus limps. That's one population tendency that stood out to me a lot in reviewing is like the ISO percentage. On average was, like 40% raising limps, 40, didn't even change between 10 and 16 big blinds. And then even tighter, down to 35 deeper. That kind of surprised me. I thought it'd be a little bit higher, shorter. So that just kind of validates a lot of the limping trash, limping the weak stuff, and stabbing flops. Because if you look at not only the low ISO percentage, but the high fold versus limp CVAT, 50%, it's 10% higher than what they fold in raised pots. I think it just really validates limping and trying to do anything other than folding your body generally. I'm just going to stop occasionally, just say anything if anything stands out to you, are surprised by something, or you totally disagree with something, or whatever.
Like say at 10 big blinds here, and you've got like just jam, like ace king suited and stuff like that. Is that better than just like min raise calling at 10 big blinds, or?
Yeah, it's stacked up where I think all the hands that you dominate are calling an open shove for the most part.
Yeah.
So I think you maximize value that way.
All right.
I don't think you have much inducing value versus the average fish. I think if you do induce them occasionally, like then there's all the other times that you also induce them into flatting a hand that would have called an open shove. So
yeah.
So that was my main reason for that. I actually think like shoving these weakish hands is pretty close. Like open ICMizer real quick.